Right then, it looks like we've had a little bit of time now to see what Erik Ten Hag is truly about as a manager. I think it's time to have a look at the sort of things that he started to change within the football club. So Erik Ten Hag came in and deployed the 4-2-3-1 formation that he had a lot of success with during his time at Ajax. A formation that can occasionally look like a 4-3-3, especially when Bruno begins to operate just that little bit deeper. It's become immediately evident that Ten Hag wanted his side to adopt a much more fluid positional play style once in possession. And we saw that a little bit at Ajax. You would see people rolling in onto different lines. You would see them coming into different channels to make up different numbers in different plays. And the main aspect of this style of play is how the players position themselves relative to the ball, mostly, and to their teammates. Generally speaking, no more than 3 players occupy the same vertical channel or horizontal line within the team when the team has the ball. The purpose of this is to maximize the number of available passing lanes, the angles, the options through which a teammate can be found, and then that's how you then go on and to create overloads. Pretty basic stuff, but doing it to a high standard, obviously, is a lot more difficult than explaining it on a YouTube video, for example. Now, during the build-up play, you see a bit of a 3-2 sort of shape with the corresponding fullback not in the 3 inverted, but tucked into midfield. And those inverted fullbacks, realistically, we've seen that mostly with Dalot. And Dalot and Sancho down the right-hand side have created a little bit of a partnership. And the build-up has looked a lot more improved at the start of the season, particularly those 4 games that we won on the bounce. And while it's only a small sample size, the interesting aspects within that are the player roles that seem to be the reasoning for that improvement, and for Dalot's improvement in particular. Dalot's been taking up a much more inverted position when Manchester United are in possession, and Sancho's been taking up a much wider touchline position on the right. That's where Anthony's probably going to start taking over and feature probably in the same sort of role, in all honesty. It also means that Dalot can offer underlapping runs, which we've seen him do to good effect quite a lot, actually. And he's also got the intensity in his profile to get on the overlap if the winger decides to dribble inside, or he finds an opportunity on the inside. He can be there as a support runner that actually goes around the outside as well. And one of the big positives in this role is Dalot picking up that sort of position means that he can help be a lot deeper in the build-up, and he doesn't have to get as high up the pitch to be a use as an overlap, because the overlap only really comes into play when the winger gets the ball at his feet. He provides that run which you're looking to try and distract the opposition fullbacks with. But if he's inverted and he's at a 45-degree angle from the winger, he can be on the ball a lot more frequently in the build-up of play. And he can be a bit of an extra man centrally, which gives you more stability defensively, but it also means that you're not asking for riskier passes to be able to reach Sancho or Anthony, whoever's on that right-hand side. It's good. I like it. Post-Brentford changes, what we've seen is Eriksen has gone further forward. He's took up that left midfield pivot, if you like. And one of the main changes that we've seen from the first 2 games is the utilisation of Eriksen compared to those first couple of games. In the first couple of games, McTominay was utilised as a bit more of an advanced midfielder. In a pivot, it looked like a bit of a fish out of water, whilst Eriksen was used as the deep liar, which minimised his impact but exploited the fact that he wasn't the most combative players defensively. The balance was all wrong, and United were punished for it. Since the Brentford game, Ten Hag flipped both players around, and as a result, both players have looked great ever since. United spent all summer chasing a ball progressor to fit Ten Hag's system in Frenkie de Jong, and as United really struggled in recent years with quality ball progression from midfield, that was one of the reasons why there was so much frustration with the McFred partnership in midfield. Our performances often look fractured, and when you couple that with someone who takes so long to get it to them in the first place in Maguire, it was easy to see why that sort of hole in the centre of the pitch was a massive problem for United. We were never consistent in patterns of play. We never moved the ball forward, and Frenkie de Jong looked like he was going to be perfect for that sort of role. Upon making the decision to no longer pursue getting him out of Barcelona in that situation, Eriksen in the last month has shown to be a worthy alternative, and the players ahead and around him are benefiting from his ability that just wasn't there or isn't there when it's McTominay and Fred that are partnered with each other. Bruno Fernandes is benefiting from receiving the ball in better positions, earlier positions, and clever areas in behind the opposition midfield, rather than waiting for us to slowly creep up with sideways passing, taking a couple of yards further forward with a dribble every single time we get it, which just bores the opposition. And you say, oh, United can't break a low block down. Why? Because we can't break any lines. We have to really suffocate a team, and then when we're in the positions, the entire opposition 11 is in and around their box, meaning that any sort of through balls that we play have to be inch perfect or they ain't getting through. Getting back to front quicker, being able to play out faster, having people that can break the lines means that the ball arrives in the final third a lot quicker when there's less opposition in the area, meaning that you're a lot more likely to create chances from it. That added thrust has meant that Bruno Fernandes is dropping deeper a lot less, which means he's in the right positions a lot more. And he actually looks productive again. The front three are now being a lot more proactive, a lot more alert, and they're making more runs in behind because they're expecting the balls to come. As a forward, it's a little bit psychological. You have to have the belief in your midfield that the ball's going to come. If you're, say, a left winger and McTominay gets on the ball, he doesn't have the ability to knock it out of his feet and stick 145 yard on a diag into your path where you can just take one touch and beat a defender. Christian Eriksen has got that and more in his locker. That's a massive tool for both us and the opposition, to be honest. It's going to be a psychological problem that the opposition have to deal with because they know he's got the ability to do that. And not only the ability, but also the willingness to do that. He's capable of finding you. That means you make more runs because you're expecting the ball to come. It must be incredibly frustrating thinking, I'm going to run every single time McTominay gets on the ball. And he isn't going to play those balls. He's going to play the safe ball. And this isn't something to dig McTominay out. McTominay is actually benefiting from having someone with that sort of quality next to him. It's raised his confidence. It's simplified his game. And now all he needs to do is find Christian Eriksen. And something that Fred and McTominay didn't really do a lot, which was offer themselves available in good positions for the ball. Christian Eriksen finds himself gravitating towards whoever's in possession and saying, hey, give me an easy ball here, 5-6 yards, and then I'll make something happen from it. And McTominay, because he's not being asked to progress the ball, all he's got to do is find Christian Eriksen and he will progress the ball. He looks a hell of a lot better because his game has been completely simplified. He gets to focus on what he's good at, and that is being combative, hitting his ground duels, winning second balls, and being a big fucking 6'4" nuisance. And it's been effective so far. Ten Hag hasn't fully been able to implement his possession-based style just yet. He's opted for a bit more pragmatic, a little bit quicker, ruthless, more counter-attacking style. And I think as the players are beginning to adapt to that, it's working. I'm not really counting the Europa League game because I don't necessarily think that the Europa League game told us too much with a non-match fit semi-second string 11. The first 11, the one that's just managed to win 4 games back-to-back, that we've seen some progress in. And, he has the idea of what he wants to create. But you have to, unfortunately, go on and win matches because people are judging you on the results rather than the performances. And I don't think the performances have been amazing, but we've been picking up wins. And as long as he keeps picking up wins, he buys himself the time to be able to implement the performances and improve those performances. And I think he's more than capable of doing that. He knows exactly what he wants out of this team. And I think he's just got to get them fit enough, mentally aware and knowing their jobs well enough that they can implement those things. And I think he'll be just fine. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, 5-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.